Hey guys, how's it going? Doing a little bit of a different video today, and again, sorry about whenever I wear the shirt. Even though it's like a cyan light blue, it's like, oh, you're wearing a green shirt. But anyways, a little bit of a little different video today. I just played this game, um, and I thought it was a I feel like it was a really good demonstration of like what it sort of means to really be able to jungle cap someone, as well as why I enjoy playing Elise. So we're going to start off just unpausing. So at the beginning of the game, the first thing I'm thinking of is I'm playing against a Shaco with Ignite. So often they'll invade. Now, if he starts red, he can clear red and then just straight up try to invade me because Elise is really weak, level 2. But on top of that, he also has a fast clear. So the first thing I want to do is get a ward here. Now, I know that they might see me if I walk up and I ward that bush, because usually I'll just ward here, just to see if they invade. But Shaco typically won't invade level 1. He'll invade level like 2 or level 3. And because he can set up his boxes, he can actually get level 3 extremely fast. So I decide that if he's going to invade me anywhere, he has to start red, and I'll be like, he should look to invade me at my red. And then he'd also get a blue buff if I started blue. So I think that the best way to start this game is to start at red buff. So, luckily my Fiora also leashes, which is great. It's not totally needed, but it's definitely nice. Now, because we have a Pantheon support, that also gives them the ability to sort of pressure early, and as you can see down here, they actually do manage to burn a heal. So that is really big. Now, we also see Mordekaiser just walking out, but that doesn't really mean much. If anything, that means that Shaco's probably just starting bot side. So we clear this up, and this ward here, you'll see, will actually proves very, very useful. So I finished red. Now I'm deciding I'm either going to do red into Gromp and then blue, so my blue lasts longer, or red into blue and then Gromp. So I decide, well, maybe Shaco realized that I started red, and he's going to go red to my blue. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just start doing this, and then if Shaco shows, I'm just gonna run. Um, but he doesn't know that I'm doing a super fast clear, so we'll sort of like give it a feel, and then of course I smite that just to secure it for sure. Then I was thinking about how if Shaco was there, he might have actually been able to outsmite that from me. Now bot lane's playing really aggressive here. They got level 2, and we see Shaco right here. I'm gonna pause it. So I'm finishing up my Gromp, and Shaco, we see him here, and this ward is really really what helps us this game. So we see that he's also just level 2. He's level 2, he has red buff, and then if we check this quickly, he has 11 CS, which means he's probably just about to, like, his boxes are just about to finish his Krugs, because at 12 CS, you know, that's 3 camps. So he's level 2, he's probably about to hit level 3, and he's looking to gank bottom. Now, because my bot lane is playing is actually backing off right now, he's like, okay, like, I can't gank, because if he queues over, he has to run all the way, and if they keep running back, then he can't do anything. But because I see him, I know, oh, he's looking to gank this bottom with how aggressive they are, and like how usually easy to kill bot lane is. It makes sense. So my decision here is like, well, we have a ward here. It's going to last for a bit, but if I just come and wait here, very high likelihood that Shaco actually ganks. So we'll unpause. So Shaco just goes back. So I'm like, okay, yeah, he's probably just finishing up his camp. I ping that I'm on my way. This ward dies. Now this ward dies, but to me, it looks like Janus starts playing more forward, because Janus usually play back here. Like, yeah, they'll move in to go for poke, but when they've already been trading and like Pantheon has his like full stacks, like they know that he can just jump onto her and like she can try and like time the NATO, but anyway, she's playing really far up. She starts charging this tornado, immediately uses so like yeah, okay, she's going in for a trade, but we knew Shaco was here, so chances are she's probably baiting for Shaco. Now as soon as she walks in here, I'm like, that's it, like that's the game. Like they get to just go in on Janna. She's already used her W, so yeah, so they jump on her, they start using Ignite, but I see so because we landed the stun, I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna flash, we'll secure this kill. So I flash, and as you can see, I'm starting my cocoon, and we see Shaco. Now, the craziest thing is why Shaco didn't just queue in, but because like the Jan is mistiming the gank with the Shaco, and now she's forced to because this was essentially like, oh, like this isn't max range, but like this is a big distance. And it's only a 1 second stun, so like travel time, it won't get there, but it's really close. As you can see, it's about to hit her when she flashes away. But the thing is, she like they already don't have heal. She's flashing into me. Now obviously she's like, oh, I'm gonna flash towards my jungler, but I mean I'm just like, okay, sure. Now I repel here because I just to try and get like over the Shaco and try and get to Janna just in case. But at this point, Kais is now going in, which is dumb because it's three, like it's for them it's 2v3, and then I smite the box because that's pretty much the only way that Shaco ever like wins a fight, and I just start fighting Shaco, and now Kais is like uh-oh because she realizes that she doesn't have any help, so um so Shaco goes invis. I immediately pop oracles. We see him for a brief second, but then he just immediately appears, and he's turning on Pantheon. That's about his only option. So Sivir just keeps going for Kaisa, and I'm like, okay, well, Kaisa's a little bit too far out of my Q range, and he does manage to pick up the Pantheon, but now he queued in, so he has no escape. So we just pick up Shaco. Now here I sort of help push the wave a little bit, but then I start moving this way just in case she stays for some reason. We still have the timing from when Janna respawns, so we'd be able to do a quick dive. Now, I don't actually have my repel up. I remember checking. My repel's up in about 10 seconds, so it's essentially I'd be leading in, and then I'd sort of briefly go in. Hopefully, Sivir would start tanking, and then I'd just like walk out. But she uses her Kaisa W, and I briefly check here, and like unless she's like here, which I sort of wait around, and we're like, okay, pretty sure she's not here, so she's probably walked all the way back. So I'm like, okay, well, instead of showing down here trying to go for turret damage, I'll make them think maybe I'm still here. And as you can actually see on the map, they have an on my way ping here, but then they're also question marking this bush, so that they think that I might actually be there. But Scuttle's up, so I know I can just go for this. So we start going for the Scuttle, and we can look at the gold difference right now. So we're up 800 gold, and open the scoreboard. Now, 1 kill went to me, which is great. Elise is great, getting some early kills, and 1 kill went to Sivir, which is amazing, versus the 1 kill that's on Shaco. So that's actually really, really good for us. Also, I'm sitting on 14, almost 1500 gold, so I can back to get my or sorry, no, I'm sitting on 900 gold. So I want over 1,000 so I can get a Hextech alternator. So we get the Scuttle. We have a nice ward down here, so we know if Shaco's there. Now Pantheon also made a nice roam, just ran straight top. But yeah, so they're pinging here. So it's pretty obvious if you see the support tops. Janna's pretty fast, so they kind of just want to engage on the Sivir here. Now I actually see this Shaco, and I miss my cocoon. That time I repel to dodge the Fear. Now they're turning on Anivia, but like that I walked in. I probably didn't need to, but so I dodged the box. We come in. We get Shaco, because Shaco again uses his Q aggressively, but he can't finish it off. And then of course Anivia has passive, so like he's not able to kill me, but then they can't really kill Anivia because I'll just be fighting them the whole time they're trying to kill Anivia. Now, from here, I'm sort of thinking about how like taking one camp is good here, because I usually almost never end up taking my like level 1 camps on Elise, so I'm sort of trying to fix it. But I'm also realizing I have a chance to sort of reset my Krugs, but at the same time I feel like I'm kind of losing tempo. But then I realized, okay, Pantheon's bottom, but he's recalling, which means that my recall will actually be pretty close to his. So then I might be able to make another play bottom. Don't really want to do much top. Whenever I have a Fiora, I don't really want to really gank for her, because late game, like even if she loses early, late game she'll always be really strong. But I'm like, you know what? I actually see a pretty good opportunity here. Just because I've sort of ganked mid, I've already ganked bottom, so if I can just fight, especially because Fiora like just came back. So it just flashes over the wall, and like honestly, that relieves a lot of pressure for this Fiora, and I'm like, okay, that's good. Now, we did see that he just placed this ward, because we had this bush ward and it just died. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take the ward, because now Mordekaiser has to think like, well, is Elise just gonna sit here waiting in the bush for me? So that also relieves pressure for Fiora. So just some like really smart play. Now here, where is it? Okay, so we get our alternator. We pick up a death seal, dark seal. For some reason I thought it was called like death seal. We got dark seal. Because we are snowballing, and we're definitely playing with the snowbally champ like Pantheon. Now, Pantheon's recalling here, so I don't really want to do anything. My Anivia's pinging that she's on her way to Dragon, so essentially she's good to come help with that if needed. So I'm clearing Gromp. This is tier 2 Gromp, so it's definitely nice to get. Also gets me my level 5. Now we see Shaco, so I go over the wall here. Let me just back up. So we see Shaco show here. Like their bot lane's already going in. My Sivir is smart, and she's just running away. She's not playing too far up, but they also don't have much engage for her. So after this, I get my level 5, and we see Shaco. Now, I know that this crab is up. He has prio bottom, so he probably thinks like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go for this crab. Now, luckily, Anivia is actually already kind of rotating. But I know he wants the crabs, so I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not just gonna run at him. But at the same time, if I try and blast cone, he can see me if I blast cone. Now he's trying to kill us. I'm staying out of his oracle's range. Start charging my hex flash. This is why we take hex flash. Hex flash over, land the cocoon. Now at this point, his bot lane is nowhere. His mid lane isn't there. My Anivia is really close. So now we're like, okay, he queued, but if you can see here, we actually, because I had like there was a burn or something, something that hit him when he went invis, so we were able to sort of see him. Now Anivia just gets to ult, he's slowed, and then knows that he has to keep running away. We easily pick that up. Now that I'm on Shaco's thinking that I have Hex Flash, yeah, he's probably pretty confused. So now it's a great time to just do Dragon. Of course, it's faster to do Dragon when I have teammates helping me. So I'm like, I'm gonna take this crab first. So Anivia starts it, and then she also pulls it out, which is nice. Shaco's dead, so like really. Oh, I can just press tab and this pulls up. Great. Okay. So we're just playing to secure the dragon. Pantheon comes along, and yeah, we get dragon, and then Anivia pings mid. So you know what? He is pushing mid. We have a Pantheon now. What's unfortunate about this is because Pantheon is so much faster than me, and again, like the distance thing I was talking about before, I can't really combo my stun because yeah, like the stun lands. I'm too far away. Like, and I'm not gonna flash because I know he can just wind wall. So as soon as I get into range, the stun's about to wear off. So of course he just wind walls it. But you know, we got his flash. That's good. Now I just want to clear vision down here because chances are they're looking to go bottom. So we see Shaco here, and because he's running here, we know he's committing, and like their bot lane's going in, like they're hard committing to this. Shaco uses his Q. That's a good thing to sort of know. I just run in. Pantheon's on his way. Now I thought that was within Pantheon's W range. Apparently it wasn't. The heal's going off, and I'm like, okay, well, and then he ignites, so we still have vision. So I just flash onto her. And then I know, okay, well, we just clean that up. We get Shaco, and like at this point in the game, we're up almost 4,000 gold, and I already know that this Shaco's probably pretty mad. Like he's 1-4. He has Berserker Greaves. I'm really fed. My bot lane's really fed. My mid lane's doing well too. In terms of the gold allocation, my top is ahead in gold. I'm ahead by 400 gold. Mid is ahead by 700 gold. 1,000 gold ahead on our ADC, and over 1,000 gold ahead on our Pantheon. So our bot lane extremely fed right now. Just gonna fast forward a bit. So blue's coming up, but I realize there's a big wave going mid, so I'm like, okay, I'll get that. And then Anivia wants blue, and I'm like, you know what, sure. So we get all the CS, and I make sure to take all the CS because we are giving her blue after all. So we want to, and then we just walk away. I was a little worried that my spiralings might take it away, but they didn't, which is nice. So Pantheon's going in here, and I'm just like, okay, I guess our support's just gonna solo their top laner. So I'm like, if he's going for that, he knows that I'm not there. So and he gets it, which is nice. He did have to use flash, but I mean, he also already committed with ult. So here I'm just sort of scouting for wards because I want to see if Shaco's coming for this. So we do see him if he's coming for the crabs. Now I'm kind of chilling because Shaco's seen me, but at the same time, like I like knowing the Shaco, like he might just be trying to kill mid for some reason. And like we see Janna there, so like they might be trying to like 3v2 us, which pretty sure we'd actually win. So we pick up crab, which is nice. Now we also see that their blue is actually spawning. I stay just to hold mid a bit. Now I actually got pinged there, which is interesting. So that means they actually did see me somewhere here. So they might have rewarded, or someone might have been in the bush. But I invade first. You always stand here when you're going for an invade on the blue because you can see the blue. So this, instead of just walking in, maybe they're waiting for you, you can go in here, wait to set up, and then you see if they actually start it. So we wait, my mid laner's here, I just go to face check, I'm like, we're strong. So again, I'm just gonna, even though Anivia has a blue, like, blue on Anivia is just really nice. Now, we've been pinging Rift Herald a bit, so I'm like, you know, seems like a good idea to take Rift here. We also, so while I'm on Rift, I don't think that they know that I'm on Rift. I'm pretty sure Shaco actually ganks bottom. Yeah, okay, oh, whoops. So as soon as basically Pantheon showed here, they went in bottom. So unfortunately, Pantheon dies. Shutdown goes to the Shaco though, and it's just a Shaco, so like it really doesn't mean much. Like Shaco's doing okay, but his team isn't getting any gold. So we already got Rift Herald, which is nice because trading a kill bottom for Rift Herald, especially before 14 minutes, is great. So here we can go back and sort of watch that. We'll go back even further just to sort of watch what happens. So I'm finishing off Rift Herald. Yasuo's showing mid, and Anivia burns her wall here. So Yasuo's like, wait, I can just go in, and like she can't stop me from going out. So at this point, I just kill Rift Herald, so he doesn't. So like he didn't know that I was over here, but now he's probably like, uh-oh. because he knows like a jungler's coming. But because Anivia started off using her wall, it is coming up pretty soon. So he's trying to get away. The wall comes up. It doesn't perfectly block him off, but I'm like, wait, I can actually just land a cocoon. The stun comes through. I land the cocoon. Now this is also where electrocute comes in really handy. But at the same time, thinking about, I have no idea how electrocute. Oh, okay, it was Anivia's electrocute because I cocooned and just W'd. So let's see. Wait, no, that was mine. Wait, what? I thought electrocute was. No, it's not sure. I thought I was hitting with three separate things, and oh, right, okay. Where Hextech Alternator comes in. Alternator counts as an instance of damage. So because I hit the stun, it counts as hitting an ability, or like spell attack ability or whatever. It's basically abilities are damage. So the W and then the alternator comes through, and then because of Anivia's ignite, he dies. So that's one of the most frustrating ways to die, because he basically went from like full HP to getting stunned, comboed, and like I don't even take damage. I don't auto attack him. I barely do anything. So here we see. Well, I want to go bottom, but I was like, well, we should push mid, and then Fiora's getting bottom, so I'm like, okay, you know what, like that's all good. So let's just push mid, and I'm like, well, we have Herald. We want to save it for when the turret gets low. My Spiralings tanked for a bit there, which is nice, and then we just took the first tower. Now we got a bunch of gold off that, and Ivy gets a bunch of gold, which is great. Pantheon's still doing work. I move briefly in there just to sweep for any vision. So we clear this, and we don't want to dive because they saw us. Now here I'm like, okay, let's dragon, but it's not up for another like 20 seconds, and we actually both just decide to recall at the same time. But dragon is spawning and crab is spawning. Now I finished my night harvester, so we're like, okay, well, we'll go crab and then we'll go for dragon. Pantheon does a great job getting vision in their jungle. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'll just start it. Anivia comes to help, which is nice. Yasuo's top, so we have prior for this. Now, here's this new strat that I'm trying out. So I'm glad even in the in like the oh, okay, darn it, it's not perfect. So basically, when I just go onto like around where my camera is, where like it's centered on the dragon of my character. Now I'm actually blocking the HP bar, so you can't read it, but now I'm seeing from here. If I'm Shaco and I'm from here, I actually can still see it. So I'd have to position a little over. It's this really cheeky strat I've been trying to like prevent dragons getting stolen. But yeah, that's just something that I'm sort of toying around with. And then because we have vision, we also just invade here. We get some good counter jungling off. Now we're looking to dive. I'm still just trying to take this route. I also think Shaco showed top there, so that's also why we're going for this. Let me just back up. So their bot lane's here. They're playing back. We took tower, so it essentially forces them back all the way here. We could actually dive them 4v2. So we see that they actually didn't back up. Like, they should have just immediately started running back, but they didn't. So, and now, and Nivi's ult gets cancelled because I guess she didn't see the tornado or whatever, but the wall just to prevent them from being in the bush. But now here I'm like, okay, well, there's a stun coming through. I want to be aggressive, so I just flash right onto this Janna. She heals, so she lives, but we just clean up the Janna. Now I'm just gonna pause here. So this is 13 minutes into the game. We're up 6,000 gold. If you look at where the gold is, top lane's behind in gold. I'm ahead in gold by about 500. Mid's up 2k, ADC's up 2k, support's up 2k. So really our 6,000 gold lead is here. And this is actually like totally optimal. Like I think gold on top laners definitely isn't what you want to get you objectives and like through the game. You want it on mid, you want on your ADC or your bot lane if you're playing with an aggressive support, so like not a Janna. It's actually really great to get more gold and more items on your support as well. But on top of that, like we have like EXP leads sort of, at least in bot lane we have a pretty big EXP lead, two levels. But like all of this sort of stemmed from, we saw Shaco earlier, we got that counter gank off, and we sort of we had some predictive early game pathing for how we wanted to play the game. We wanted to play around bot side and that Pantheon stun, especially against a really gankable lane. And then we just snowballed that throughout the map. So like this Shaco made really bad plays early. He forced really bad, and he didn't really know what I was doing, and was just sort of thinking like oh, like there's it's low chance that she's here or whatever. But yeah, so like this game is it's a stomp, but at the same time like we're not being super greedy about any of this. Like our deaths are very low. Only one of them is on Fiora, two of them are on our support, and I think at least one of those was just saving our ADC. Okay, there was the second one I was talking about on Fiora, but like that's okay. Like getting kills on Fiora means nothing when all our gold is bot side. So here we saw Shaco moving down, and I was like, okay, maybe he's coming for this. Better sweep. I pink just to be safe. Now they actually do spot me here, but I'm like, okay, whatever. I clear the little raptor that Shaco left while counter jungling. And I haven't spent a lot of time farming this game, so like any counter jungling Shaco does is actually kind of funny. I'm surprised I make it past that. We get a nice word in there. So now we've rotated our bot lane. I use that just to see if anyone's coming, but I'm okay. Like we should look to dive here. But I'm also just waiting for Yasuo to show up. Like I'm not actually going in for a dive, and then they just kill him, and I'm like, okay. Now he wards me out here. So I'm like, okay, I'll back off, and I'm like, nah, we're strong. We should just go for this tower. So we take the tower, and Anivia pushes mid again. We clear his wards. Now we get another blue for Anivia. But they're fighting, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, I don't understand why they're moving up to like fight us. But like they can't really do anything. Like they don't have the CC to cheese us. Like their comp is pretty bad. Now we randomly see Shaco here, and he's for some reason queuing in, which again doesn't make sense. Like I guess he was trying to get a shutdown on Pantheon doesn't even have a shutdown, so like I don't know what he was trying to do. Farm his camp. We leave a counter jungle for the lulls. Now I'm just hiding here in case they go on Anivia. They've been thinking about hex flashing. They pop her passive, so I'm like, okay, I gotta step up. And then here, I thought, okay, maybe she tries to sidestep, but I missed Cocoon, so that's a misplay for me. And then Anivia, her egg form was tanking the tower, so that's not good. Now here, I actually just sort of poke, and it gets away like 2/3 of his HP, so I'm like, I'm actually really strong right now. But here it's just like we've collected like all the gold, like we have all the towers outside the base, so we're really just looking to close out the game. I pick up a stopwatch here because I think, okay, like just because if they go for a play onto me, they can kill me pretty easily still. But what's also so great about this second herald is the fact that if we use it on any towers, we're essentially just cracking open their base. So I'm looking to hold it and save it to end the game. We pick up another dragon just because in case the game lasts another like 6 minutes or so, then we get that soul, and it's nice. So again, there I was also trying to block vision of the HP, although apparently that doesn't really work. Here they're sort of looking to go on Sivir, which is how they get back into the game, but she's sort of protected. Sivir gets red, and from here, Fiora's pushing bottom, us grouping here, we're way stronger 5v5. And I'm like, you know what? Like, since we're all here, this is definitely the time to end. Now, I land the Cocoon and I sidestep his grab. We have the Herald already. We see Kaisa mid, and they actually saw Shaco recalling, so we're like, you know what, like, best case, they have 2 people here. They do. So now we've cracked the base. We have a bit of a wave. It's not a whole lot. I see Janna steps up, so I just flash onto her, pop her. Pretty sure I flashed my mastery. Maybe not, okay. Or maybe you can't see mastery flashes in spectate. So now we get another one, and at this point, like, there's really nothing that they can do. Herald dies, but like, they have 2 people dead. We're so much stronger than them. I land a cocoon, and then Pantheon's ulting. And at this point, I'm like, I don't really want to go for more kills. Like, it's like, may as well just end the game. But yeah, so 3-0-10. It's a pretty nice game. Here's the match. So yeah, 3-0-10. So ADC went deathless. Here's the gold graph. So apparently we were behind a little bit, 2 minutes, but of course 2 minutes we're taking our first buff. So all that means is that Shaco just cleared his camps faster than me, which makes sense. So you can see most of the kills happened in the bottom lane, and this is a pretty, excuse me, this is a pretty linear gold graph. It's not exponential, and you would expect, like, oh, like, if we're stomping this hard, we should have exponential growth, sort of like what's seen here in like the last little bit. But often when I find that games are played correctly and more of like a methodical and like getting the correct rotations and the right macro plays after gaining a lead, it is sort of just linear, constant like graph. Because the thing is, the more kills you get, the less kills are actually worth. So then you want to go for objectives. And the thing is, objectives, like, you can only, like, you can't just take all of the objectives all at once. So it is a pretty linear approach. Other than that, like, we got the objectives. My runes, pretty standard. I only hex flashed that one time to kill that Chakra, but it's just sort of there because I like to have that sort of like unpredictable play style, and like, people just don't really know how to deal with it. And like, it also has to do with having good timing, because of course you have to know when to start charging up. Of course, we take Relentless Hunters, so we go around faster. Graphs, our damage, we did do quite a lot of damage. But of course, so did Pantheon. So we did tons of damage. We got first blood, of course. Crowd control score was pretty high, but we're looking for a vision score. So vision score here, 25. Now that is quite a lot compared to everyone else other than the support, but we actually almost had more of a vision score than the Janna. But yeah, so either way, like, that is essentially, it's not like the ideal Elise game, in terms of like, we had to make that adjustment for Shaco at the start of the game, but other than that, I'd feel like it is pretty much like, this is basically as good as it gets for predicting the enemy jungle path and then playing around your team. My team does play well, but part of that has to do with, I'm really enabling them to be able to play well and make Shaco a non-factor. But yeah, I'd highly encourage you, if you want to learn Elise, you want to learn like early game, as well as like how to really snowball a lead, to watch this video a couple times, just sort of really get a feel with like the thought process of knowing how to work around vision, how to work around what your team has, and who, like, what champions are on the other team. As always, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, hit that like button, hit subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.